Welcome back to the Tailosive EV podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're back at 50% EV owners, up from 0, which is quite astounding growth for a single week. We need to go over safety scores, so let's get that out of the way.
100 out of 100. I'm perfect.
Perfect.
I haven't actually looked at my score today, and I drove today prior to getting home to get on this, so let's find out. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I can't tell if this is genuine hype or if he's messing with us.
He's smiling.
After that Z Flip podcast, I don't know what to believe.
Believe this! I went from 97 to 99 today right now.
Congrats,
You should
Randy.
be getting it soon then.
Oh!
It's Friday.
Guys, I can't be on
when
the
we're
show.
recording.
I gotta go do something.
Well,
you
it's
might
going to
get
take
it
a few
tonight.
days to update to the car. But
Well, no, I was just joking anyway. But
congrats,
oh my god,
dude. That's awesome.
It's possible you could get it tonight.
I don't know how to feel right now. I gotta be honest. I don't
Merry
know.
Christmas, Randy. It's a Christmas miracle.
I'm trying to be in podcast mode right now, but I'm actually like genuinely shocked right now.
It's a long time coming, dude.
I gotta.
Well-
I'm like dropping the. I can't keep the act up for a second. I'm like really excited right now because it's.
If you weren't excited enough, I have some breaking news for all of you.
I'm sweating. Okay, let's go.
It can't be more exciting than Randy hitting 99.
I'm actually pretty excited for this. So, Omar from Holmar's blog made a tweet that Elon replied to. And he said, rumor has it that the Cybertruck is no longer configurable on the Tesla site because they're debating getting rid of the single motor version and having 2, 3, and 4 motor variants. Elon replied, initial production will be 4 motor variant with independent, ultra-fast response torque control of each wheel.
Whoa.
So someone asked, can it turn like a tank? And he said, we'll have both front and rear wheel steering. So not just like a tank, it can drive diagonally like a crab. So crab mode and a quad motor Cybertruck
Whoa.
is now confirmed. Also, the first Cybertruck they build has been confirmed. It's none of the ones they took orders for.
What?
It's the 4 motor. They're starting out with a quad motor.
But wait,
Pickup.
is he saying it's already been built? The quad motor?
No, he's saying initial production will be 4 motor variant.
So how are how's that gonna be initial production when no one's ordered it?
It sounds like Nick needs to
Well-
order 2 more Cybertrucks.
He's already said, someone asked, how will that work? Like, how do people order that one? Someone was like, how does what will happen to the tri-motor reservations? And he said, product roadmap update on next earnings call. So I take that as the Cybertruck update we've all been looking for is going to be at this next earnings call, where they not necessarily give us pictures, although that would be great. You know, I've been thinking about how January of this year was when they dropped the Model S and X refresh. That was when all the new designs came forward. Like, here's the yoke, here's the new interior, here's what we're building. And it took a while before delivery started, but they unveiled it all in January. We might get a similar type of unveiling with a January earnings call for the Cybertruck. But now that's the first time Elon's ever come forward and just said, yes, we're doing a 4 motor variant, and also saying that's the first one we're going to build. So I think what people are already tweeting about, this is a very easy way for Tesla to start Cybertruck production off with like a $90,000 trim, because they can say, well, we didn't take reservations for the quad motor, so we're not lying about the pricing. We're just introducing a new tier. And man, what does that mean about acceleration, about
Range.
range? Oh, the off-roading capability I wonder if Rivian had something to do with this, you know?
Maybe.
I
The
think
4-motor
absolutely yes. I think if you're not going to be first, you got to be best.
Uh-huh.
And a quad motor, crab looking Cybertruck with the design it already has is a status symbol, to say the least, of talking about things. And now you get one of those gimmicks and the higher echelon, like, okay, cool, Model X can do this, but can it do this?
Yeah. Yeah, that can go.
We better get a crab
walk.
mode dancing
Oh my god.
bit with it. Like the Model X
yeah.
has the Christmas dancing mode. We should definitely get the crab dancing mode. Yeah, for the Cybertruck, that'd be cool.
Ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted
Wow.
to do that thing that the little baby spider does when it tries to mate and it sees his reflection. Yeah, I wanted to do that.
Oh my god. That's fascinating. Okay. Elon
my
says the rollout of the external beta in a few days if no significant issues are found. So Randy, you should be getting your beta within the week, assuming you don't drive horribly.
Just don't drive.
No,
Don't
I'm not
try.
driving
Just
anymore.
don't drive at all. I don't drive anymore.
If my brother's watching this, thank you for having a scapegoat for me. I've been using his car a lot, and it saved me because there's some things I need to drive further for, and I'm just like, no, I stuck to the regiment that Mike kind of road mapped for me, and it's funny. I skipped 98 altogether. I went from 97 to 99, unless I got it yesterday because I didn't look at the app yesterday. I might have got it yesterday. So maybe every day it's bumping up. But the thing is, I've been sitting in the green. Man, wow, I'm so... I had a thought of what I wanted to talk to you guys about because I had been sitting in the green for so, like, over a week now, and I was just sitting at 97.
Yeah, because your car is green.
Yeah.
All right,
But I
get
was
out
at
of here.
97 for so long. And yeah, that was ugly. How dare you? How dare you? All right, now we are 66%. Never mind. We're back to 50.
Dang it, Drew.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I was sitting in green for so long, and when you look at the overall number, the highest thing I have is 0.9% unsafe follow, 0.2% hard braking. Everything else is 0, 0, 0. So there's been no forced disengagements from autopilot, no forward collision warnings. So I was like, the math isn't adding up for me then. If all these numbers are under 8%, even in its total, why am I still at 97? Maybe there was an app. I don't know how they're running this thing, and that's why it's beta, I guess, safety score beta.
Yeah.
But
It'll be
It
beta
intrigues
for 10
me
years.
just mathematically with the way that I was doing it as a rolling average. It sounds ludicrous to go from 97 to 99 or even 97 to 98 to 99 within 3 days. That
2 days. Because
Or
2
2
days
days.
ago, for sure, 2 days ago, I looked at it and it said 97, and I was planning my notes of what I wanted to talk about. You know, I'd be honest with you guys, and I was actually having this conversation with Nick yesterday or 2 days ago. I was like, I'm getting tired of coming on the show and complaining. Like, I felt like all I was doing was complaining. It does not motivate me to want to do a show because I have to give an update, which is a proper update, but it's not a representation of how I actually feel about Tesla. If it was, I would have like sold stock, or I don't know, but it's not a representation of how I feel. But the frustration of not understanding the math is, kind of like demoralizing. Like, what's going on with
Sure.
this? So
yeah.
I would
be depressed too.
I was having these things because like I don't know. I'm
Talk
having
to your doctor about FSD beta.
It was
See if
it was
safety scores
irritating.
are
may
right
cause
for you.
depression, anger,
Make-
sudden outbursts.
Just it may cause a lack of motivation to want to do anything, and I just didn't understand. And now it's at 99, and I'm like, I still don't understand, but now I just had this big dopamine hit, and following up with like, oh, there's a whole nother motor variant for the Cybertruck we have not heard about. This is the Tesla I like to cover. I like to talk about the good because there's enough people out there that I want to talk about the bad. I don't want to be in that camp.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Being a negative Nancy is overrated.
I'm just so jazzed that like I'm just okay. So Mike, what I do?
I'm
do I
happy
just
for you.
Do I look in my car every 5? Like, do I get a notification in the app?
You'll get a notification that says update waiting. So just wait for a notification. You don't have to check all the time.
Okay.
Just wait for the car to say, hey, I'm ready to update. Or
Is it
even
going to send me a notification to my phone as well?
so
or no?
at some point it will, yeah. If not, what you can do if you don't want to leave it to chance and you want to get it as soon as possible, just check it in the morning and evening. Like, it's not going to happen like any minute. I would think it'd roll out morning or evening, just like I would assume in the program it's like, all right, check at the end of the day. Does this person reach our criteria? How long have they been at that criteria? Okay, we'll roll it out. Versus, I don't know. You could be part of the next rollout, or you might be a mid rollout like we've seen with other people. So I would say just hang tight. That's it.
Okay. All right.
But
All right.
it's really fun. I mean, at this point, you're joining in at a pretty awesome time in the FSD beta. The turns that my car used to not be able to do, now is doing it. There's a...
How about that tight one you were...
It does it
showing
at
us?
night now.
It does?
It does it at night.
How did it learn that?
I don't know.
What did it do?
It can do it now. It can do it one way easily. Doing it the other way at night, it's a little bit tough on that turn. But there's this one turn that is further down the road that is another way to get to my house. It used to just roll
so cool.
through the stop sign and then ignore it. Now it actually stops at a good spot and then creeps out and then goes. It's doing a whole lot better to where my average, I think, in terms of interventions where I have to literally disengage because it's a danger, is maybe 1 to 2 every 3 days. Otherwise, it's
3 days.
Yeah, it's either me
Really?
doing it because I don't like it doing the lane changing sometimes, and I've mixed or played around with like turn out of the fast lane or whatever. Like there's a toggle in there in the Tesla menu to either stay in the fast lane or stay out of the fast lane. Either that or other things. But besides like micromanaging it with like hitting the pedal sometimes, which I don't necessarily say is disengaging it, it's more of just giving it a nice push to get through a turn. It's been doing great. Like it's not, I would say it's not ready for the masses, like in terms of like everyone on Earth who has a Tesla to get it, but it's doing a lot better than it did when I first got it. Like there is progress. It's doing turns better. I'm getting to work without having to intervene much anymore. And now it's just more of, is it close to that car? No? Okay, I guess we're good. Or how many times do we have to lane change on this highway until I get to work? So,
Wow.
more of nitpicking now. So,
Yeah.
you'll
So
love it,
you
Randy.
do a lot of zero intervention drives?
Yeah, usually in the evenings it's a lot easier because there's not as many drivers.
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends. I've been working like 10-hour shifts this week, so
Oof.
I usually get home a bit late, so it's a little bit easier for the car in regards to traffic, but it's a little bit darker as well, so there's a little bit of a challenge for the car. But otherwise, yeah, usually in the evenings I could get home without any intervention, which is really cool, especially since it has to go over a certain highway that is 2 lanes, kind of like what we showed in your video, Drew. It's almost like that, but like a little bit more sketchy, and it can do that decent. It's just
That's amazing.
yeah. I'm really happy.
I'm happy to hear that.
You have a lot to look forward to, Randy, and
Thank you.
the next week.
Thank you
or
for the
whatever.
good news. And I'm glad, to be honest. No, actually, no, that's not true. I was like, well, at least I'm coming in where there's, some bugs are still being patched. But if I'm an early adopter, then I don't want to, get half early adoption. Like I'm just, the sooner for me, the better, bugs and all included, because
Oh,
that's
there's
the
still
whole
some.
point of.
There's still some bugs for you to deal with. You're gonna have to wipe
boy.
your windshield a bit, but
Cool. Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see
That
your
sounds
reaction.
like a joke I would make.
I'm hoping to see your reaction next week if you've got it.
Yeah. I know you say like every night or every morning or so. I think I'm just gonna take that advice and throw it out the window and just go sit in my car and just wait.
I think Mike said the best part of beta is not having a safety score anymore.
Oh my goodness, Randy, it's gonna feel like taking off like 3 layers of clothes after going to the snow and like running around everywhere. It's gonna be like, yes,
I'm free.
I've been conditioned. Since October 1. Yeah.
somewhere around there.
I've been conditioned to just drive a certain way that goes against some logic, and it's made me like progressively really upset because I'm like, I hate driving now. Like, I can't even enjoy the car for its purpose of why I even got in the first place, and it was all because of this darn safety score just ruining my life, holding it over my head. I hate things being held like and I'm just like so
the wait should be just about over.
Man, if there's a safety score thing again for like insurance, that alone is why like I'll never do it again. I hate having it held over my head. That's not who I am. I can't. I'm too
I don't know if I asked you about it before, but we got several comments on the podcast of people saying the easiest way to get a high safety score is to just leave it on autopilot as much as possible, because it doesn't count autopilot miles against you if it turns too hard or follows too closely. So are you not using autopilot that much currently, or?
I wasn't, and then I was, and it didn't matter.
It still dinged you.
No. It didn't ding me. What didn't matter?
It just didn't help.
The route that I take is a very long straight road. It's a side highway off of the main actual interstate, and it's basically it's a full half circle that encompasses, I think, like 12 miles or so. So I drive from where I live. I'll get onto the side highway and I'll go almost the full circle, but then there's this intersection where you have to like cross. You have to drive kind of like this. It's not a full, it's not a straight T. It's like one of those abstract Apple wallpapers with how everything's kind of curvy, and it's curved enough that if I make a U-turn right there, it's no sharp turning, and I'm the only one who ever makes a U-turn to get right back onto that small highway to come back to my house. Everyone else is driving towards like a Target or something. So I'll get on and I just make a U-turn, come back, and that distance is like 14.6 miles. So then I'll do like a quick little roundabout loop that I have near my apartment complex here, which is off the main road anyway. So I'm not... The only time I was getting hit for close following was when I was driving when people were getting off of work and people are just like sardines, and I'm like, I can't avoid that. So I would just not drive during those times.
Everyone's a sardine.
Between 3 and 7 p.m. I'm not driving. So that's the only way I could avoid it. And yeah, so I did autopilot only to... I was getting eye fatigue taking the same route every day. So I was like, boom, boom. Oh, thank God. But at all times, I'm holding the steering wheel and I'm just not looking at the road or the trees anymore. Now I'm just like looking at the sky. Look, I just needed to take my... I was getting... There's a true fatigue happening, even if it was just 15 miles a day. The mundaneness of... Even more so maybe because the road is so straight.
Yeah.
It's so... dry. Hey, Mike, I know you've done your road trips. Imagine driving through one of the Dakotas or Montana. And you're like,
I was gonna say it sounds like North and South Dakota, just straight road for about an hour, and you're just
bunch of nothing,
literally nothing but John Deere factories every so many miles. You're like,
all I had was a wall of trees, and every day I saw less and less trees on the or less and less leaves
Giga deer
on the tree.
What?
So, yeah, I did use it. It didn't matter. It didn't help the score. It just helped my sanity near the end.
Okay.
I use it every day now.
Because if it was safety score impacts your insurance rates, and keeping autopilot or FSD beta on all the time results in better score because Tesla just deems it as safer, then I'll leave it on all the time. And if, our wives don't like it, I'll be like, well, we can't afford for me to drive. It's cheaper for the car to drive.
I don't think you can swing that by my wife.
Drive.
I don't think you could. Every time I activate it when we're in town, for the 1 or 2 times that she and I are in the car together, she's always just like, can you please disengage FSD? It's hurting my neck. I'm like, okay. All right, that's fine.
I just need the financial incentive. My wife would be on board with it. She'd be like, I'm sure she doesn't think it's a good driver, just like yours. But if I told her, if I take the wheel, honey, we're gonna spend $50 more on insurance this month. She'd be like, okay, let it drive. We'll just let it break our necks.
I did ask. I updated my insurance because I found in my most recent statement with Tesla Insurance that there's some things that weren't accurate, and I updated with them. And I asked them, "Hey, are you guys going to be doing the same thing as Texas anytime soon here in California with having a safety score attached to the insurance rate?" And they're like, "Oh no, California would never let us do that." But in Texas, they're a little bit more lenient.
Oh,
so
really?
It doesn't sound like California is really, unless like the laws change or there's really an initiative to change it by the community or government officials. California is never really going to have like a safety score influenced insurance, which in Randy's case, he'd be like, woohoo!
I'm on my way home.
Yeah.
Say less. I'm coming back.
Yeah. But in Texas, like you're kind of stuck if you stick with
the
Tesla
one place
insurance.
I want to go to. Thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Randy's gonna end up in Texas. Well, California's got another strike on the that's strike 93 for California. I guess.
It's okay.
Another
USAA is
insurance
headquartered in
premium.
Texas too, so I'm not gonna stress.
That's
It's all right.
Maybe get a better
Well,
rate.
Tesla's officially moved their HQ now, like legally, I guess.
All the paperwork's done.
There's a lot of construction still going on at the HQ, but it is HQ.
Did you know? Maybe you did actually. So okay,
I did.
Not you guys, but anyone who's listening. Did you know that the Austin site, Giga Texas, is the 4th largest man-made thing in the world? Now, hold on. Thing. I want to be
By
clear.
sheer volume?
We are not talking.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear. Okay, people, let's be crystal clear. Okay, folks.
4th largest thing.
4th largest thing.
Yeah, what's the metric?
So, prior to this being built, the Pentagon is the largest federal building in land mass and actual, like, as a building as a whole in the country, and it was competing to be between that and J.P. Morgan Chase's headquarters is one of the largest.
They need such a big headquarters.
I don't know.
All those awards shows they're giving away. They gotta film all those Chevy ads in the HQ building.
The best
Yeah, but this
Chevy.
is Chase. So we family relative works for Chase, and he was the one who was like, the headquarters out here is Chase is the second biggest building in the country, and I was like, okay, I want to see this building. I'm like, ooh, and this was months ago that when I saw this building. I drive by the Pentagon often enough that I know how big the Pentagon was, and I was like, the Pentagon is huge. But then when I drove through Giga Texas, I was like...
And it's already dated, by the way, because there's a Space Force now, so they got to make a hexagon. It's going to take a while, but...
It's dated because it does... Is it too early? Is it not soon enough to make a 9/11 joke?
Let's
Never
not.
mind. All right. Okay, I won't do it. Never mind. I was going to make another why it's dated joke. But, okay, so... the Pentagon, I drove by, and this sucker is huge, but... I was like, I think Giga Texas is bigger. So we go on Google and put up how big is the Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. And it showed this metrics. And I was like, I think it's bigger than the Pentagon, which means it's the biggest single mass building in the country. No, forget building. It's the 4th biggest thing.
How does it compare with skyscrapers?
That's the thing.
I'm very
It is
confused. Are
only-
you doing volume? Are you doing height? Are you doing width?
No, I'm not doing height. I'm doing by.
It's like 5 stories tall.
It is beat out only by. Let's see if I can pull this up. I want to find the exact link. It is beat out only by, I think, one of those buildings in Dubai, and whatever North Korea is trying to flex upon. And I'm sure you throw China in there somehow, but give me a second. But anyway, the point.
How does it
I'm gonna
compete
find
with like a dam?
I'm so confused.
There's some pretty big dams in the world.
Yeah, Hoover's huge.
Hoover. Damn.
Well, the power grid is the largest thing. Like,
Oh, that's true.
Well, that's a network.
it's a thing,
The
though.
internet.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I guess maybe that's where I'm confused, Randy. Like,
Hang
are
on,
you
I'll
just
find the
talking
chart.
about by like sheer square footage as a building
I will let you know.
that is
I'll let you know
larger
once I see the
than
chart.
a
I'll let
store?
you know. The jury's out on this one.
Like, I could say there's a whole bunch of farmland I saw in Dakota that's larger than Giga Texas. But we ain't talking about farmland square footage. We're talking about...
And humans didn't make farmland. I mean, they worked on it, but
insert...
it's land.
It's land. Wait,
Jupiter
you want-
might
wait.
be bigger than Giga Austin. Just
Maybe. We need one of those charts that's like Earth, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Giga Texas. It's like way bigger than all of
there
them.
you go.
It's about the size of the sun. It's a big factory, yes.
Elon's ego.
What Elon's ego.
There you go. Bigger than Neptune.
Yeah. Bigger.
Okay,
Bigger than
here.
your
I don't know if this was this site.
I should have used the other blue planet.
the other
Cybertruck pre-orders.
Yeah, there's a couple of
Oh my God, these ads.
blue planets out there.
Ford F1 Lightning
Yeah.
pre-orders smaller than Pluto, which is technically not a
Smaller
planet.
than Charon.
Yeah.
Did you hear, like, I was somewhat disappointed. There was an article that was trying to be optimistic from Teslarati, which I appreciated. They were like, Mach-E sales continue to increase, like, 8.5% in November. And I looked at the numbers. They've delivered 24,000 Mach-E's this year.
Wow.
I love the echo there. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
that was a great laugh.
The echo lasted longer than the actual ha.
Yeah, that was wonderful. But like people in the comments were already bringing up, this is only because they didn't export as many, and they actually delivered more a year ago within the same month.
So there's less.
So they were
sales.
like, they're not like increasing in deliveries. They're kind of like
increasing in
middle
mass.
ground.
Or not mass,
They're-
but like the total amount of Mach-E's made, but
What's the volumetric mass of Mustangs put together?
horses or vehicles.
Yeah, both. There you go. Randy made the meme already. Oh wait, that's not a meme. Oh my god.
Oh no.
That's Reno.
Hang on. I'm not. That's
That's
a
Nevada.
patience.
Which wasn't finished. It's still not finished, actually. They just put in fun fact this morning. They were reporting that Giga Reno just got its second mega charger stall.
Gigarino.
Well, hey, correct me if I'm wrong really quickly on this Reno thing. Weren't they initially, if not had it been already, that was going to be the actual headquarters?
I never heard that.
I don't
thought
recall
heard it
that.
was-
they were building it the way they were because with the intent of that was going to be the main factory line and had HQ, I thought.
I think way
I'm
back
pretty
when.
sure the purpose of Reno from the beginning was just to build a crap ton of batteries. I don't ever recall them saying Reno would build Model 3 and why.
Yeah.
I feel like they would have designed the factory much more differently if they were planning on building vehicles there. You would have brought in more casting presses and that kind of thing, and they never did.
Yeah. I remember semi being built there, like potentially being built there. But that was it.
That might still happen. I'm not sure.
Or is happening, we don't know.
That could be. I mean, there were all these rumors and all these sources claiming that they were going to do a pilot line of semis at Giga Nevada, and now they're installing all these mega chargers. So it might happen there, considering how busy Texas is right now. I don't even know how they're going to have room for Cybertruck and Model Y in that. As big as it is, the production capacity they're going to have to output. And if you've seen the layout, you know which side is the paint shop, which is the stamping, which is the 4680 line. Like, if you know the layout, it's like, where is the Cybertruck fit in all this? It's like,
Right here.
hopefully it needs way less square footage because there's no
Right
paint
there.
shop, and it takes up like 1/10 of the factory floor. That's the Cybertruck production line. We could make
It's a
like
triangle.
100,000 a year.
It's a triangle.
Yeah, it's at the very end. That last little corner. All the rest does Model Y, but yeah, it's like 90% paint shop.
We build them
that's
in a tent off-site, just like the Ys, basically.
They build it on the side of the freeway, just right off the line.
On the one Tesla road that they have, there's just a tent in the grass. This is where we build the Cybertruck. Oh.
Well, I need to hear, Nick, how do you feel about a quad motor? Is that good, bad?
Or the
do you want
quad
it?
motor kid thing?
The Cyberquad
I don't think that's quad
kid thing
motor.
is cool.
The ATV?
That's just a quad.
That's a single motor.
The quad single motor. Yeah, that thing was cool.
You can buy a single motor. Well, I guess it's sold out.
Oh my god. I want to see Nick ride a Cyberquad for kids. Can you imagine?
It's Bowser and Mario Kart.
That's
No,
literally
actually,
what it
I
is.
think it would be easier. It'd be easier for him to put them on like rollerblades, like one on each foot.
Ron seemed to fit pretty well.
No, but that was on an actual Cyberquad.
Oh, that was an actual
One of them-
Cyberquad?
Yeah,
Oh.
it had.
No, one of
it
them
was
wasn't.
different in geometry.
Ah, bummer.
He rode the one for kids in one shot.
He did. Oh, I
Yeah,
only saw the
one
one
of the shots
shot
he-
of him on the actual
He's
one.
very large, but yeah, one of the shots he's actually on the little one, and then the next shot he's on the official one. But it gives me hope that Cyberquad will exist.
One
I asked
day.
him on Twitter. I'm like, hey, this is awesome. Where's the big one? I will shell out money for that. As much as I want to shell out $2,000 for a kid's toy, that technically I can ride on because it says 8 years old and up.
I am up.
Didn't it say 150 pounds though?
Dang it,
I can lose all of the weight. Don't worry about that, Yvonne.
Nick being 6 foot whatever he is, or sorry, taller than, I guess in this case the chart that Randy gave us, taller than Giga Factory Reno, and still being 150 pounds. Sounds some Willy Wonka looking.
I've got a little ways to go, but I'd love to check one out. It's funny that Radio Flyer made that.
They've made things in the past. They made the I think they made the previous Tesla Model S for kid
Yeah.
driving thing.
They did.
It does make sense that Tesla's like, hey, you did good
The
with that.
toy company made a Cyberquad before Tesla did.
Apparently this week
But
was
delivered it.
Cyber Week, and I guess it's almost over.
Yeah.
It's Friday as we're recording this, so
There were socks. There was the whistle.
a $50 whistle. Did anyone
Did you
buy
all
the
order
Did
a
anybody
whistle?
grab a whistle?
No.
You did?
Oh, you did?
Oh,
You
yeah.
bought a $50 whistle.
Oh, nice.
I looked at that thing. I'm like, I could get that 3D printed for free from a friend. And
But it wouldn't be from
it
Tesla,
steel?
and it probably wouldn't be out of stainless steel.
have you seen what
Unless
I've
your
got
friend
right
has a
here? I don't need
Do you have a
anything
steel
else
3D
that's more
printer?
expensive.
Oh, the tequila.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The tequila,
It's the tequila box.
a little bit too far.
You can't drink a whistle, but do you actually need a whistle, Nick, or is this just because it's just for fun?
Well, did I need to spend $50? No. Did I need
Here
a
we go.
whistle? Also no. But did I suddenly feel the urge to spend $50 on a whistle? Yes. Yes, I did.
I love
Thanks,
that
Jack.
they're embracing the cyber aesthetic because to me it's like them reminding everyone we're not forgetting the truck
Yep.
exists and the
We're
truck is
not
coming.
Nikola,
So
guys.
like don't
It's coming.
yeah. Even though they said 2021 and 2021's almost over, they're still trying to
I mean,
meet
if we
that
count the
holiday
Cyber
rush.
Whistle as part of the Cybertruck, then we could have thousands of deliveries by the end of the year.
They should just make a bunch of whistles out of old Starship parts.
I really want this way more. I'm secretly hoping that I can reverse engineer it and then be like, Elon, make this out of scrap starships. But yeah.
I wonder what it sounds like.
I can now only think of a
You play it,
Starship
it's
whistle,
got
and
a
now I'm a
whistle.
little bit grossed out.
When you start blowing on the little Cybertruck whistle. Sorry. When you start
Have you heard the
exhaling onto the little Cybertruck whistle, it just starts
Did you-
playing the Mad Max theme.
Did you guys see the new Dune?
No.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever heard the Mongolian throat singing before, where they're like.
I mean,
It should make that sound when you blow in the cyber whistle. It just goes.
I'd rather
Yeah,
whistle
it's
that
the
does the
most-
Halo soundtrack.
It's the most emasculated horn sound.
The most demasculating. Ha!
Yeah, there we go. It does the autopilot jingle. Doom, 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 doom.
So a car in my parking lot was there's an EV. I think it's a Nissan. I don't care what it is. It's pulling.
This is an EV podcast, by the way,
broke boy
guys. I don't care about that EV.
It's such
It's a compromise
mundane.
EV.
Yeah, it started pulling into the parking spot, and we're walking up to our entry door here, and we just hear what you hear is and Brittany goes, what? She turns around, she goes, what's that noise? I'm like, oh, there's an EV over there parking. Why? And she's like, because that's a newer model. It's making that noise. It's equivalent of like having your engine just staying idle, but you can still hear the engine. Just so you know that there's something there. She goes, ah. And then she pauses. She goes, yours doesn't do that. Like, no, mine doesn't have the speaker system like that one. Newer Teslas do. She goes, God, yours is boring. This one's over here trying to sing a Christmas tune. Here comes me.
Silence.
And I'm like, yes.
I prefer the silence.
I love the
personally,
silence. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Honestly, she likes the silence more because she was like, it's so repetitive. It's just a
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
The delivery van was doing something like that too. The Rivian one.
Well, at least with Tesla,
When
you
it's
can
under-
customize it, so it doesn't have to be boring.
I would set it to a silent sound effect.
yeah.
Like, let me customize it to nothing. Or something funny.
I think I'd follow suit with the guy who did bruh.
Yeah, bruh would be
bruh.
good. Or
Mine would be the
Toto
Halo
by
theme.
Africa. Africa by Toto. There you go.
Still the Mad Max theme song.
Oh yes, dude.
backing up.
I listened to Fury Road on my drive to the airport. That's such a great driving song.
It is the best
Oh my
driving
God.
song.
Makes you think of the Cybertruck too. It has that
Yes.
effect on you.
I always think about
Is
the
that because
Cybertruck
you watched
I'm worried
the-
about it.
You watched it? Oh my God, Chase. God.
James.
Is it because
We
you
didn't say it
associate with the Cybertruck with the keynote? Like you've watched it so many times now. It's all I picture is the fog and that beam shooting through. And
I'm not picturing the unveiling. I just think the Cybertruck would work well in the Mad Max universe, like just the
because it's
apocalypse
red
and-
like Mars and
yeah, driving through the dust and
Except for all the
sand.
gas that they're trying
Tom
to use.
Hardy's on it.
That's why the Cybertruck would do so well, is because it could just charge wherever with a big solar fold out, and it wouldn't need gas that everyone's
But
fighting
where would
over.
you get the water?
There's these hydration panel things that Ben Solon's used that pull water out of the air. So you could,
Dehydrator? Yes.
yeah, dehydrate the water around you.
I think that's a rehydrator.
A
Rehydrator.
Why would you-
rehydrator would. You're dehydrating.
You just
the
keep
air.
a lot of dehydrated water with you.
Yeah, but it's
And then you just
rehydrating. water
rehydrate it
for you.
whenever you need it. That's a good idea, Drew.
Yeah.
They should really use that on the space
Add
station.
water, you get water.
Exactly.
Let me
Dehydrated
just recycle
water.
my sweat.
It's a lot of dihydrogen monoxide.
Oh, dihydrogen monoxide. Yikes.
Yeah.
That's lethal stuff right there. Lots of people die from overdosing of dihydrogen monoxide.
Hydrogen monoxide. Right. Do you think they should still do a tri-motor, or do you think it's pointless now?
Don't.
I don't know what to think anymore with this information that
Don't
we've
you
been
do
given this
that.
morning. I don't know what to think. I mean, again, the question is, what are the specs of this fourth motor variant?
Like, does it hurt range?
Yeah, how much is
that
it
the
hurting
question?
range? What's the acceleration now? Like, how fast can this truck go?
I've had the feeling it was capped out at 2.9 seconds, not because of torque limitations, but because of grip. So I would assume it's not going to be much faster. maybe slightly 2.8 or 2.7, but it's still a giant heavy truck. So that's gonna be bloody
2.7
fast.
in a Cybertruck is that's gonna be mind blowing. But I don't know.
That's gonna be.
I don't know what to think anymore. Like tri-motor was already like, oh, I mean, it seems real tough to get like a 500-mile range truck with 100 or like hundreds of thousands of orders, like, and now just adding a fourth one, which is probably going to be
I have a
less
feeling-
attainable. But
I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that when you're making a vehicle as large as the Cybertruck and with the stainless steel exoskeleton and that massive battery pack, the motors relative to the weight of the total vehicle are probably fairly low. Like tri-motor on a family sedan is going to take up a bit more weight than tri-motor on a F-150 size steel pickup. You know, the ratio that at, plus they already have on plaids there's two motors in the back and they're kind of connected. They're like a conjoined part, despite having two separate motors on the outside. You're basically, my theory is they're probably just going to take whatever they put in the back of the plaid powertrain and just also put it up front, so you have more torque control when you're off-roading and that kind of thing. I think the off-roading is the only reason they're doing this. I don't think it's an acceleration or towing feature. We couldn't do it with 3 motors. We had to do it with 4. It's like we want each wheel to be able to turn independently.
yeah, are we going to get like a Cybertruck presentation 2.0 in 2022 or something?
I would love that. I would love one that they leave public on the channel.
So they would compare it to what, the Rivian? I don't think the Lightning will be up in there.
They'd go to McDonald's, get one of those
Okay.
play paste balls, the ball pit balls, and give that to Franz to yeet at the windows. So then that way they don't have to privatize the video after.
And
They spray paint
Are
it
you
gray.
sure?
Breaks the window anyways.
Still breaks.
It's
Franz actually can throw really hard.
He's like Shaggy.
But-
He only
no,
used
someone
2%
asked him.
of
They
his
were like,
power.
They were directly on Twitter, like,
zoinks!
what happens to tri-motor reservation holders and when should we expect delivery? And he straight up just said, next earnings call. He didn't give an answer. He's just like, we're gonna detail roadmap.
They
on the
have
next
to
call,
talk
so-
about Cybertruck now. There's just too much hype around Rivian and Ford. Like
Lightning.
you can't not talk about it now. People are questioning what's going on with Cybertruck, rightfully so. And so if this is forcing the final, like, all right, let's talk about some stuff, then yes, please, because now here you are coming out like you're saying this as if it was like common knowledge, like, oh yeah, no, the fourth one, it was going to do it. Like, no. Then
Yeah, he's like correcting him.
yeah, don't correct. Like, we're not going to move past that. Like, you didn't just say that, and I want to hear.
Did you just? Did you just? I wonder if the engineering team knew about this. We are doing that.
Wait, what?
What? Elon.
Elon, wait, what are you going to
Nick
tell us
said.
that?
Nick said you don't want an update. Why is that?
No, because it's just going to get me all that much more excited for a vehicle.
You
It's
poor
still going
thing.
to take another 10 years
Yeah.
to come out, and I'm going to be still sad.
You don't want to be excited.
Nick wants to get a Rivian.
Yes.
Wow. First Randy, then me, now Nick, and then Drew was thinking about it as well. Wow.
I'm more interested in the Cybertruck now. just
Effective
because-
today, or as a recording today, Friday, Rivian's stock has officially fell below its opening price at 102. So
It did? When?
Yeah, today. It's
Sale time.
open when they IPO'd as 106.
Oh, you're right.
And it's now
Yeah.
below. So if you guys want to buy, well, I'm talking to you three as well, but anyone listening, because people have, Mike has talked to
wanna
me
give
about
some
this and
financial advice?
absolutely. I've talked. Enough people ask me like, "Oh, what do you think about Rivian?" Well, honestly, if you plan on for the long haul, it's never been cheaper statistically. So, so
Who knows? And in 6 months, it might be at a new all-time.
I can't stop buying EV stocks, man. I just can't.
I'm like Thanos at this point.
Why?
Got all the EV stocks on a gauntlet at this point. Just
I
I've
can't
got-
stop, Mike. I just am I just buying them because I'm bored? I don't know. I don't know. Ford historically had a higher dividend, so I was like, okay, Ford. I don't care about the company like that, but if you pay me to do it, then that's different. Rivian, I genuinely like the product just from seeing your guys' reactions, following it from basically inception, and I'm rooting for them because they're post legacy company, and I like a good underdog story. Who doesn't like a good underdog story? So I am rooting for them. Lucid, I'm personally indifferent about it. I'm more excited about Aptera over than anything else. Out of all of them, Aptera is the most weird.
Frustrating part about Lucid for me is I'm not like in love with the product or the brand.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just not for me. But there's all this hype surrounding everyone thinking Lucid is a fraud and Lucid is the next Nikola and Lucid is lying constantly. And I find myself defending it a lot, and I don't really feel very passionately about them, but I get looked at as, you know, the Lucid fanboy, or, you know, will defend Lucid for anything. And I'm like, I'm really not. I'm just trying to say there's a difference between fraud and incompetence. There's like, you know, if you want to be like, Lucid said they would deliver this and they wouldn't deliver it. I've got a long list of Tesla products that have yet to be delivered.
That's right.
And a lot of promises with, you know, robo-taxis and recurring revenue, and it would be done by 2020. You know, I don't look at that as Tesla's a fraud. I just think they thought they would be done, and they thought they would achieve certain things before.
Lucid, I think what you said is spot on there, Drew. I think Lucid is just, I'm just not excited about it. It's nothing new.
It doesn't change anything, really.
Like Aptera, like that's a Cybertruck equivalent. Like I'm going to talk about that. Rivian is the first EV truck, and it's just they're so off the grid about it. Like
they're so fresh.
Yeah,
they're so new.
We talked about it before, and it still rings true that it's just they're in the market of a spot that hasn't been approached yet. That Tesla hasn't even really truly expressed true interest in it. That this is your adventure style lifestyle. This is when you want to go do those camping trips, or you want to go kind of, you know, more or less off grid and know that you're going to be okay with the product that you have. And there is a market for it. They're not trying to be the biggest the fact that it can also still just drive on the freeway, awesome. So it's also a daily vehicle as well.
Yeah,
but that's not
Rivian's not catering to an oversaturated market, in my opinion. Whereas Lucid is kind of going into a very crowded, you know, luxury EV sedan. It's like, okay, we got
Ford, I just felt like they're
already
cheating because they're legacy, and they're like, all right, let's do this. You know, like, okay, Ford, yeah, I get it.
They went to an F-150, unscrewed the bottom, and the engine fell out, and then they put a battery and a frunk in it.
Ta-da!
Electric truck! And everyone's like, yeah, it's great. That's a big frunk. Well
this
done.
This sucker's fast. I don't even know where I am. Who am I?
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I have the feeling Rivian will be substantially less interesting when the Cybertrucks like are out and being delivered regularly.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that
all
before.
The other electric
Rivian was in trouble even before they started delivering, like huge trouble. Like Cybertruck looked like it was on the horizon. Now it's more like the next hill over.
I'm trying to think of the term for that. The Cybertruck feels, is it renounced?
It's still on the horizon.
Like they announced it and then they kind of took back everything they said.
Well, it's just like the Y, right? Like, oh yeah, we've got 4 different variants. Here's all the specs and everything, and it's coming out in the summer of next year. And they're like, well, JK, it's coming out earlier, but also...
well, ignore all of that.
The price isn't the same. The specs are kind of the same, but there's only going to be
range
3
is higher,
of them.
price is higher.
Or not even 3 of them. There's only going to be 2
sooner.
of them. We're not even going to do 4. We're going to do 2. So it's kind of like the same with the Cybertruck now. It's like, there used to be 3. Now there might still be 3, but initially they're probably only going to do 2, which is the 4 motor and the 3 motor. And... the specs are going to
Oh, you think they'll do 4 and 3?
Initially, I mean, that's what happened at the Y, right? They're like, we'll do 4, but we're initially just going to manufacture 2, and then we'll get to the 3rd and 4th later. And then they're like, well, JK, we'll just do 3, and we'll get to the 3rd one later. And they're like, JK, we'll just do 2. And with this Cybertruck,
is it technically reneging, where they just go back on what they were talking about.
They're just breaking their kind of promise.
Because the thing is, in that sense, like, that's what reneging is going back on a promise or a contract in a legal sense. You're taking back an agreement of sorts, but they didn't. It's not like they made an agreement, but you are going back on almost everything that you're saying. So if you're making the last,
I don't think a single spec of the Cybertruck will remain the same.
Well, here, let me frame it like this: if Nikola, in some alternate reality, they announced all these products like the quad, the jet ski, and everything that we knew that they announced before, and then they take it away, but then they bring it back. What would you say about Nikola versus Tesla? Like, yeah, of course, Tesla's had all this time, but like, it's the same situation, right? Like, oh, maybe we won't do the Badger. Never mind, I guess we will do the Badger. Like, it's...
I would say, what I would say about that is a lack of confidence. It's not a reliable company still.
I think it's a pro and con of Elon and Tesla probably working a lot like a startup, and the fact that Elon's an engineer and, just like in the SpaceX world, they are constantly iterating and changing things. Like, if you would have talked to them a few years ago, they would have said, okay, Starship's going to be all... Well, no, it's not Starship. It's a big Falcon rocket, and it's going to be all carbon fiber. Man. And then within a couple of years, they discovered actually all of the work it takes to weld and try to get carbon fiber right and to protect it from melting. It actually makes more sense to use steel, and originally they were going to have the 3 fins at the bottom, and then they went to 2. So it's like, as soon as they find out there's a better way to do something, they instantly switch to that because it makes more sense, which is good. But the downside is when you announce something that's not coming out for a couple of years, there are so many of those decisions along the way. There's so many like, actually, that doesn't make sense. We're not doing a single motor. Never mind. Okay, scrap that. Actually, if you're going to do might as well do quad motor. Let's just scrap that or change this price. They're constantly figuring out what's best for the product, which is good. But in terms of honesty and transparency and how accurate they are to, this is what we're going to deliver on, and then what actually gets delivered, you get like almost completely opposites.
It's the strangest situation where like they're both being transparent and not. Like, we know a lot about the Cybertruck, but also we know nothing. Same about Starship.
I feel like it's been renounced. I do. I feel like we basically know ballpark what it'll look like. Roughly. We have a rough idea that it will be an odd looking, no paint, steel truck, okay, but the motors, the prices, the range, the specs, the windshield, the mirrors, the interior,
the frunk,
the bed, the frunk, there's like a million things that we're still like, I don't know. So it's hard when people are like, when I'm reviewing the Rivian or checking out that, I'm like, oh, okay, these are what these features are, and this is how great the truck is at this. And
at least Rivian was consistent. I think
fairly,
like, they announced it. They
tank turn.
They give this. Well, yeah, but they went back on it saying it's coming out whenever we get to the software update on it. But like, basically everything else that they promised and the look of it and the shape stayed consistent.
Not everything an EV does, a different competitor of Tesla, not everything they have to try to copy Elon in regards to even announcements or presentations, because you know how like I would say, actually I think you said this, Drew, Apple's greatest accomplishment is the new splash screen, and now everybody copies the splash screen. So, and I'm like, okay, now everybody's using it. Like, okay, we get it. So that in that sense, it's probably a good thing. But when people go on stage and they try to but when Google or anybody else goes on stage and they try to be revolutionary,
the tensor chip,
and they try to do this Steve Jobs, Johnny Ive thing, and it's like, just stop. And that's a bad thing. I feel like likewise, all these companies are trying to, do the same, any news is good news, so let's do all the Elonisms. And it's like, no, because you're not Tesla and you haven't laid the foundation. You haven't been at it for decades. So we're going to hold your feet to the fire. And when you mess up, which you are messing up, because we're using Nikola as an example.
Hey, don't be attacking my hydrogen garbage truck. That thing is amazing. 10 out of 10. Most amazing.
I agree, it's a garbage truck.
Just announce something when it's ready. It's this whole... I have never been a fan of pre-orders on like video games that are incomplete, announcements about things like air power, and whenever there's pre-something, I hate it. When you say we have something I want to show you and it's going to go on, you can pre-order next week because it's shipping the following week. That's different as opposed to we have an iMac Pro, we have a Model Y, and here's what's like. You're showing these things, but then they're not ready yet, or it's going to be the semi truck. You're going to see these things that were just sitting. I don't agree with that philosophy as a whole, because then we're sitting here as consumers, fans, people who are coming to space, and like, I'm so confused about what they really mean anymore. And Tesla's not, immune to it. They like you said, they have a list of things too about stuff that they are just.
I guess the difference is they've delivered millions of vehicles,
and
so
they're
Nikola
the first to be successful post legacy automobile of it, and now
they've proven profitability.
Absolutely,
and they've delivered something. Granted, a lot of it was late. Some of it was early. I always bring that up, but for the most part,
and some of it was better than what they announced with like range thing. So there are things where they are good, but I just don't like that practice of you're telling me something, and maybe it's nothing more than just good PR because it's going to help the stock and it's going to be on news coverage on snow days.
Except the Cybertruck didn't help the stock at all when it came out.
No, single-handedly, the why is why we are where we are today in the Tesla field.
Hertz has boosted the stock more than anything Elon has ever done.
Thank you, Hertz.
I've never seen the stock skyrocket after an announcement like that from Tesla. I've only seen the stock skyrocket off of someone else's. We believe the stock is worth this much, or we are going to order some cars from Tesla.
We are not taking Bitcoin. We are not taking Bitcoin. We'll do things like that. I'm thinking about taking Tesla private. All these things. But also on an outside source, yeah, you're right. Another company's like, all right, we put in this order.
I just picture the tweet going up and then the slide whistle sound. I think the reason, I get what you're saying, because I don't like it when they unveil stuff prematurely as well, but I think their idea with the Cybertruck was to gauge demand, which I think of all products they've ever unveiled, the Cybertruck was a good one to gauge demand on, because you were approaching a very traditional market that's existed for basically 100 years plus, and trying to see, can we throw something that looks like a doorstop at this market and actually get people interested, or is this going to be laughed at, meme to death, and only a very few will be actually comfortable buying it? And they wanted to see what the reaction would be with those prices and those specs with that design, because they were like, I think this is the point I wanted to touch on, because Rivian is in production hell right now. We're already finding out like they're kind of struggling to get to mass production. However, we give them credit because they did stay pretty consistent with their original prototype. The interior, the exterior, the features, the gear tunnel, the kitchen set. They stayed true to all that, but how many hurdles do you have to go through to mass produce a vehicle of that complexity with all those features and all the... Man, I want to hear the metric on how many hinges there are on every Rivian. My God, every little thing opens up, and then there's more things opening up inside that, and then there's another compartment inside, and they've got all the interior features as well. It's like, and they're going to discover probably during this mass production process, oh, that's not just a little detail we can add. This is going to take a long time to get that addition to the interior or exterior mass producible. And once people go through production hell, the Cybertruck will actually come across much more smart, because they're like, oh, they get to skip all of that. Oh, they get to buy... You look in the interior, you basically have a countertop and an iPad, and you're done. There's nothing else. And people
is this
will literally,
laminate or marble? Oh, it's laminate.
Yeah.
All right.
Literally countertop.
You have your car wows and your out of spec motorings that'll get in there and be like, yeah, they don't have much in here. I don't have a place for this or a place for this. And Tesla's like, yeah, I don't care. We can. You can third party it to death, you can add in your own accessories and whatnot. But I think what Tesla was trying to gauge with that demand was, this is a vehicle that is built for scale. We can mass produce it quickly and efficiently and profitably and get better specs than everybody else. But is the design going to be too much for people? Is that going to turn a bunch of people away? So
Yeah.
Before you start mass production and building out the factory, how many orders of this thing do we get now? Came out. The answer is, yeah, no one cares how it looks. In fact, a lot of people prefer the design to a traditional truck, myself included. And that's taken off, and now they've been like, okay, we won't have a demand problem.
Yeah.
If anything, I would argue they might have gotten less reservations if they made a traditional truck.
I think you're spot on with that, actually, because of this whole tradition. Tradition is everyone's crutch to...
Think of the cyber aesthetic. How much money they've made just on the whistle, on the cyber quad,
Yeah.
on the socks. Like this whole cyber line of merch, I bet they're crushing it right now.
The
with the merch
Cybertruck
department.
is the modern version of the Ford Model T. You can have what you want as long as it's, stainless steel.
Great. Yeah.
And it's because if the idea is we want to mass produce this as quickly as possible, that's what the Model T was aiming to do. And you want all these colors? Well, we got black. Well, in this case, we don't have a color. And the idea of rolling this out as quickly as possible, I think it's a genius production strategy, because the concept of just assembling it, Tesla's thought as a whole is the truck market is the biggest market in the United States, and we need to get this out on a quick demand.
Tesla's scaled before, more so than Rivian or Lucid or anybody. So when they design a product, they're thinking, we have to build millions of these things, so let's find a way of scaling it. Whereas Rivian is probably more focused on let's make a solid product,
Right.
And then the production is kind of an afterthought. It's like, okay, now figure out how to mass produce that great product you like. Whereas Tesla probably acknowledges the hell they had to go through to scale the S and X, and that's what inspired the 3, which is now inspiring the Y, which is now inspiring every vehicle gets more scalable along the way.
Yeah. The marketing alone is genius, because you see it and you instantly know what it is, whether it's a silhouette, a drawing,
no logos,
a meme, and no logo. It is the logo. It is the brand, and it's so abstract because it's. Can you name another product? I'm trying to think of an Apple product, for example. Like, is there an Apple product that's so iconic that doesn't have the Apple logo slapped on there? I don't think so. I'm trying.
AirPods.
Mac Pro. Oh, AirPods. But are they iconic? Yeah, I guess they are, aren't they? Yeah, because they're little white thingies.
There's no logo.
There's little white thingies, but it's an accessory. I guess that counts. But
yeah, no, it's. I think the reason I've had a hard time acknowledging it a lot is just because Tesla's gone so quiet about it, and we know so little about it.
Yeah.
And we're waiting to hear more so we can take it into context. But yeah, when we're talking about Rivians and Lightnings, it's like people will say, "Well, wait for the Cybertruck," or "Wait till this," and we're like.
Yeah.
I don't know what to go off of. At this point, we don't know the size. We're confused on pricing, on range, on specs, and motors, and we're just waiting for something that's a tad more concrete to compare it to, because Elon ping-ponged on the size thing like 5 times, I think, last year. It's like, actually, it's got to be smaller. Actually, it'll be full size. Never
5%.
mind.
There's no objective comparison that we can make with the Cybertruck right now. So
I don't think Tesla knows what it's going to be.
This is all actually just a door wedge that they've been designing, but they turned into a vehicle, and then they're like, we'll make it a whistle and a door wedge and call it a day.
It's a troll that went too far, and now they have to commit, kind of like not a flamethrower. Oh, you guys actually want this. This is terrible. I said don't buy it. Don't.
Don't buy this truck. That's what he should tweet when Cybertruck deliveries start. He should tweet out, "Don't buy this."
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. You shouldn't buy it.
It's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea. I told him not to.
Look how sharp those angles
I
are.
saw this. Wait, Elon related, completely nothing to do with EVs, but I saw this this reel or TikTok or whatever, and they're like, "How's X Ash 12 dash?" And he goes, "I'm sorry, what?" And they're like, "X Ash." Oh, you're talking about my kid. I thought it was a password.
Yeah,
I laughed.
That was at Berlin.
I laughed so hard at that because he acknowledges the absurdity of it, and that's just.
Yeah, he didn't know his own kid's name.
Huh? Oh, you're talking about my kid. Huh? That's so funny because that's Elon's brain as a whole, and I think that's why he's allowed to get away with it for things like Tesla or Boring Company or SpaceX, Neuralink. Because it's like, of course, because his brain's doing this, while us smooth brain logics over here licking the paint. God, where's the Cybertruck? And he's over here like, we're going to Mars in a trajectory of. His mind is so far gone; it's literally millions of miles away, and we're over here. Is it gonna be 5% smaller?
I'm just trying to have hope that 2022 can be the year of the Cybertruck, where they like announce all the changes in January, and they're telling everyone our goal is to deliver in the fourth quarter.
And it comes in October.
Start.
That'd be nice.
That would be great. If any deliveries happen next year, I'll be happy. But
if there's
I ran
none,
a poll
then
recently, and it was
Drew
not
will be
optimistic.
existentially in dread because there's no Cybertruck in 2022.
I'll be even more depressed than I already am.
I feel
Off the charts.
By technicality, they will have a Cybertruck end of next year, but it's not the same way they announced it in 2019, so it can meet the whole, meme of the movie and like, oh look, it's very this belongs in this universe. And I think they'll have something, but it'll be so internal. First delivery shipped. Yeah, who's got them? Who's got this quad motor thing? Elon? Does that count as his ship? Somebody not the founder?
Rivian's doing it. They're doing all the employee.
I know. So are we saying that counts then? Because if that's what they do, then yeah, us normies aren't going to see it until mid 2023. But I want to be wrong. I want to be September, October, like you said, Mike. That'd be cool next year. Less than a year, because in that scenario, it's less than a year out. And the idea of thinking that after we've been sitting so long feels as far-fetched as me getting FSD. So it'd be nice to see a change of pace. And honestly, I think because he said it in the tweets, he's very much alluded to everything else. Everything about production hell still very much exists with the chip shortage and everything that happened post-COVID, that if they had to stop to kind of regroup as a whole company, and this gets resolved because of Berlin coming online, Texas coming online. You have if all this was they just needed extra time for the groundwork, more power to it, because that means I'd rather it get right and we just have a better production line that it needed that extra TLC that goes into it. And if that's the case, I don't see why it wouldn't be a quick turnaround to then start rolling it out if it is as expected. But this is, again, in the context that we're all...
We've got a factory.
Yeah, well, this is all us pre-announcement. We don't know what he's about to talk about because we're just kind of waiting. Like good little children on Christmas Eve. Just waiting a little longer.
Waiting for the world to change.
All I want for Christmas is my Cybertruck. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch a company that moves this quickly change their mind on so many things.
So quickly.
Yeah. He seems pretty down on the yoke, though. He did not want to budge on that.
I only imagine a universe where they didn't go with the whole 2019 meme / Blade Runner-esque thing and just held out and waited to like solidify the product a little bit more like they kind of did with the Y. We would still be wondering, is it a rounded Model P or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'd have no clue what it was.
Maybe unpopular opinion about the yoke, but I like the Cybertruck's yoke in the prototype more than I like the Model S's.
No, I agree.
Okay. Oh, really?
I like it.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
Ooh, I like this strictly because from what I even saw with my own two eyes, it does not obscure the screen at all from where you're positioned and where the steering wheel is at.
No, I don't know. That was the argument that didn't make sense to me because Elon kept saying the yoke allows unobstructed view of the screen in the S and X, and I was like,
no, it doesn't.
Well, this truck doesn't have a screen there, so what are you protecting exactly?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it needs to get out of the way of a screen. I just think it looks cool, and yes, it's not as practical, but I don't care. It still looks cool.
Nothing about this truck is practical except literally everything. So
Is it though?
Well, think about it. Bulletproof? It could stop a 9mm? That's practical for no reason. Well, am I going to drive this through the projects?
I can't tow this with a fifth wheel or gooseneck.
Am I supposed to be able to breathe inside it while it's on Mars and I could just take off my helmet like I'm Master Chief? No, we're just getting started. And I'll take it off and...
It's just another helmet.
There's probably certain goosenecks could do it. They just have to be built a little different.
Yeah.
It was, Mike. It was just another helmet.
It's always just another helmet. It's just another Cybertruck under the Cybertruck. This is all what Tesla's doing right now. You think you know the Cybertruck? Nope. It's just another.
No, we're just getting started. And it's the exact same.
I hope they... I'd be excited if they did the whole, like, the vault can be cabin controlled thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like that I think could win over a ton of people. It's like the camp mode
You
with
can preserve produce longer.
HVAC.
That's a lot of produce that you're putting in the back of your truck.
Hey, man.
Instead of dog mode, it could be hostage mode. Just have someone in the back stuck in the vault.
They always
All
have
right,
to have the glow
add
in the
that
dark
to the
little
bingo
button.
card.
Even the gear tunnel has a glow in the dark button on the Rivian
It
in
does?
case you try to.
Oh,
that's what everyone
The
asked.
latch to leave, yeah. I was thinking like there's interior lighting in the tunnel. I'm like, I know if there's LED. You should put like an LED
No,
bar
it's
in
like-
there or whatever. That'd be cool. Like
On a hinge.
Governments they've really cracked down on making sure you can't stuff bodies in any new cars. My God.
Well, that's assuming the body's still alive.
Oh, right. Speaking of children, the Cyberquad for kids can fit in the back of the Model X.
Hey,
I just tweeted a picture.
that's a good
Someone
idea.
did. So
But
there you go.
can it fit in
what
my
we need is a
Y?
mini Cybertruck for it to pull into.
I want the Model X to get a redesign. I want it to look even boxier and bigger because the Model X, I want it to look like a ship.
A rhombus. Oh.
A rhombus.
It's like you're boxier? I was like, you just want a Cybertruck with third row.
I
instead
want a
of bed.
Cybertruck that I can stand up in.
Ooh,
That's a van.
Shouldn't you can stand up in a Model 3, right?
Oh, that was mean.
I couldn't help it.
That
I'm
was
sorry.
mean. I think
Wait.
if they made,
And not true.
I think if they made
Don't cut, Nick.
I think if
Don't-
they made a cyber lineup, it would be a money gold pit for Tesla. I mean, we've already seen what I think was
Money gold
a
pit.
money gold pit. I don't even know what I just said, but like what Honda did a couple weeks ago or a month ago, where they're like, "Oh, here's our new electric lineup," and like 2 of the cars looked cyber, or 3 of the cars looked cyberish. Like people will pay for exterior design that looks very stark and modern.
yeah.
So
People want to be special
true.
snowflakes or special dumplings, so they want to be unique. You okay,
Bless
Decker?
you.
he's allergic to snowflakes. And
You're in
snow.
the wrong hemisphere.
It doesn't snow here. But yeah.
But you get ash,
I'm
and that's
sorry.
kind of like snow.
Welcome to 2021.
Man, it's almost over. That was quick.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The moment Nick said he was cutting at 111, I was like, oh. Well, then I'm just going to talk more crap.
Well, no,
He's
I'll
probably
splice
cut
all
back
that
at this
together
point.
again. We're just skipping
Oh.
over the bad joke.
It's not a bad joke.
So Randy,
It's-
how many
That
toddlers
was a
can you
bad
fit
joke.
into your 3?
Right now, legally, I can
Bye.
only fit 3. All right. Well, yeah,
You're
we're
gonna
at our
dub
hour
over.
15.
How many cantaloupes can you fit?
What kind of math
cantaloupes.
class is this?
How many baby-sized watermelons can you put in your frunk, Mike?
Baby
I know I could put 3 pizzas in my frunk. So, like large pizzas.
pizza time.
In their boxes. Yeah, pizza time. How many multiversal Spider-Men can you fit in your Tesla?
Oni Morales.
Oh,
The whole cast of Spider-Verse.
that's holy
fit.
cow. Well, the cast is
All right.
reportedly huge.
Well,
Well, any last
It's
thoughts
got
then?
result.
It's been fun. I can't say the jokes have been real fun.
Come on, Nick. Where's your sense of
They've been
disturbance?
There was a line, and that joke would, woo, boy.
Hey, like a Falcon 9, we've taken off, and now we're landing back on this wonderful barge that is not filled with...
funny, and no one's on it.
Like the end of the show.
Where's this devolved?
Comment taco if you reach the end.
Comment
Just so we know.
Taco. Yes, on the
So we know.
podcast app. Comment, please.
All right.
5 stars taco.
I am excited
5
for the
stars
canoe to
taco.
come out next year.
I'm excited for canoe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.